hanging out here at home like everyone else, eating a lot and baking a lot. And one of my favorite discoveries from the past few weeks has been a chocolate and almond olive oil cake from Nigella Lawson that is absolutely delicious. And it's parve, and it's gluten-free, and it's perfect for Shabbat, and I wanted to show you how to make it. So the oven is preheating. It's at 325, and I've started to just get things in place here, and I'll go over with you what the ingredients are and what your quantities are. In this bowl, there are 6 tablespoons of very good quality cocoa powder dissolved in half a cup of boiling water. And I did that before because I wanted to let it cool. And I'm going to add to that 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and I'm just going to mix that together. And it should be a very, very thick paste. The recipe actually asks you to sift the cocoa powder. That feels like an annoying and unnecessary step to me since you're dissolving it in boiling water, so I just ignored that. And you can feel free to as well. So that's pretty well mixed, and I'm going to set that aside for the moment. Then we have a cup and a half of almond flour. I just used this one that I got at Costco. And I'm going to add to that my baking soda. So it is a half a teaspoon of baking soda and some salt. Just a pinch of salt. So I'll take about 1/8 of a teaspoon and put that in there. And I'm putting that in the mixer. I don't really bother incorporating those 2 things. I think that's fine. So then we're going to go to the mixer, and we're going to put 3 eggs and a cup of sugar into here with the paddle attachment in. Again, 3 eggs and a cup of sugar. And I'm not going to turn that on yet. I'm going to add the key ingredient for this cake, which is 2/3 of a cup of very good quality olive oil. And you really don't taste it doesn't taste like olive oil, right? It just gives a wonderful, rich flavor to the cake. And you need a little tiny drop more, so let's do this. This is the same olive oil, just in a different container. Again, 2/3 of a cup. And back to the mixer. Okay. And I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to mix it on a medium-high speed for about 3 minutes until it starts to take on a very pale yellow, almost rosy complexion. So this cake is going to bake in a springform pan. So that is a pan where the sides open up and the bottom can come out. This is a 9-inch springform, and I have a poorly cut piece of parchment in the bottom that just helps it, obviously keeps it from sticking to the bottom. And we're going to let our wet ingredients mix together for 3 minutes and come right back. The sugar, the eggs, and the olive oil are mixing together. You can really see that it's starting to come together and form a thick liquid with a beautiful pale yellow color. I'm going to give that another minute. All right, this is almost done. Now again, the recipe here says to add the cocoa mixture. Remember, that's the cocoa dissolved in hot water with the vanilla. It says to add it while it's mixing, but I have done that, and you can make a very, very big mess that way. So I'm just going to cheat a little bit here, turn the mixer off, add this in while it's stopped, and then we'll make sure that it gets incorporated. And I also may have cheated a little bit and added a tiny bit of extra cocoa in here because I like things very chocolatey. And no one in my family objects either. So again, the recipe calls for 6 tablespoons. I think I probably added about 6.5, but you know, follow the recipe as closely or not as you wish. This is a pretty forgiving recipe. Okay? We have that added, and we are going to mix this until it is very well incorporated. Okay, that looks beautiful. Now, we are going to add to that mixture our dry ingredients. So again, it's the baking soda, salt, and the almond flour. Again, I'm stopping the mixer just because I don't want to make a mess. A more professional chef with a cleanup crew would probably keep it going. And this you want to mix until it's just incorporated. That looks perfect. And I'm going to take the mixer, the bowl off the mixer, as well as the paddle. Clean the paddle off into the bowl. Okay. And just going to mix this a bit, scrape up the bottom, make sure all the almond flour and other dry ingredients are well incorporated into the liquid. Yep, that looks gorgeous. Okay. Now it's a pretty wet batter, you'll see. And it's going to go into the spring form, but my last step in terms of preparing the spring form is just to spray the sides with some more olive oil, which I happen to have. You can also wipe it if that's easier. I have this great olive oil spray, but you can just take a paper towel and wet it with a little olive oil and wipe down the sides. I'm going to spray the sides and spray the paper ever so slightly. Okay. Ooh, that made a little bit of a mess, but I will clean it, don't worry. Now this cake, you'll see when it's finished, comes out with a delicious kind of almost pudding-like texture. You can bake it a little longer than the recipe calls for to make it a little, feel a little more solid. But it just has an absolutely delightful texture when it comes out. It's so good when you eat it warm. Or it's good when you eat it 3 days later too, as it turns out. You can't go wrong. All right, some lucky child will get to lick this bowl and spatula. Right there. Okay, so then this goes into the oven for 40 to 45 minutes. You're going to keep an eye on it. Again, the oven's set at 325. I'm going to set this for 40 minutes. And we'll be back. It's been 40 minutes. I'm take the cake out. And that looks perfect. That. I'm going to let this sit and cool. This is not a cake that you even need to test. If it's been in there 40 minutes and it's starting to look a little cracked on the top, there's no reason to test it. It's absolutely fine. It's actually nice when it's a little spongy, as I mentioned. When this is cooled a little bit, we'll come back and just show you what it looks like when I take it out of the pan. But I will say right now that to serve this, You could simply sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on top. You could make regular whipped cream. If you wanted dairy, you could make a coconut cream whipped cream out of the thick layer on the top of a can of coconut milk. You could put some berries on, just about anything. It's perfect. So be right back. So the cake's been cooling on the stovetop for about 20 minutes. I'm just gonna take my small knife, run it around the sides. Looks like I might have actually needed to put a little more oil in the pan. I have a little bit of stickage, but that's okay. Not gonna fret about that. And knife goes all the way around, and then just loosen the spring, and voila. Put this on a plate. Dust it with a bit of, well, I'm gonna let it cool a little bit more actually, but then you can dust it with a little bit of confectioner's sugar and serve it just like that. It's perfect, simple, delicious, gluten-free, olive oil chocolate cake. And I really don't think you'll regret making this, so try it.
Excellent. Want to say bye-bye?
Bye. Take care, everyone.